Hello Internet, welcome back to another episode of Pokémon Generation 1. In the last episode, we defeated Koga here in Fuchsia City in order to get ourselves the Soul Badge, which is shaped like a heart. Is that an Undertale reference? Maybe. This time, we're going to be going into the Safari game, Pokémon You Catch. The Safari Zone is what it's actually known as. Hi, is it your first time here? It is. Safari Zone has 4 zones in it. Each zone has different kinds of Pokémon. Use Safari Balls to catch them. When you run out of time or Safari Balls, it's game over for you. Before you go, open an unused Pokémon box so there's room for new Pokémon. I should probably check how many Pokémon are in the box I have, just so I'm safe. I just got ahead, I just finished checking. I have 4 spaces open in box 2 at the moment. I'm not planning on catching everything here right away, so I'm not gonna worry about it, but what he said is true, and that is good advice to give. Good job, Game Freak. You should probably make sure to check. If you use the item finder in here, it'll say it isn't responding. But if you use it in this corner specifically, item finder indicates there's an item nearby. There's not. And if you manage to go out of bounds to go and look for that item, the game will simply crash. There is no item out of bounds, and I do not know why the item finder responds on this tile. It doesn't make sense to me. Welcome to the Safari Zone. For just 500 Poke, you can catch all the Pokémon you want in the park. Would you like to join the hunt? I would. We only use a special Pokeball here. You'll receive 30 Safari Balls. We'll call you on the PA when you run out of time or Safari Balls. So there is a unique mechanic to the Safari Zone that we'll talk about, but if you make it here with under 500 Poke and have beaten every possible trainer up to this point, you can't enter. And you are effectively soft-locked. Unless you trade a Pokemon to a different game in order to get the HMs, plural, that you get from the Safari Zone, that's a soft lock. It really sucks that that's a thing. In Pokemon Yellow, they changed it, so they will let you in regardless of how much money you have, but they'll give you less Safari Balls. So, yeah, at least they were nicer about it. We only have 500 steps in here, as you can see by that window, in order to gather any items, catch any Pokemon, or reach the end of the area. As such, this is guaranteed to take multiple trips. It is worth it for some of the things in here, though. To start, let's encounter a wild Pokemon. Any day now. There we go. Okay, Rhyhorn, sure. So you cannot battle wild Pokemon while in the Safari Zone. Our options are to throw a rock, which basically makes a Pokemon more likely to run away, but slightly easier to catch. We can throw bait, which makes a Pokemon less likely to run, but harder to catch. Or we can throw a Safari Ball, which is identical to an Ultra Ball, which is a very bad thing in an area where you can't weaken Pokemon. Let me tell you now, you're best off just throwing a Safari Ball if you want to catch something. Using bait or rocks is a waste of time. It doesn't increase your chance anywhere near enough to make a meaningful difference. Even throwing a ball, we only have about a 6% chance of catching any of the rarer Pokemon here, but hey, it's what we've got to do for now. Stay in the damn ball, Rhyhorn, you aren't worth the trouble. Well, that was a guaranteed catch because it shook more than once. Okay. I'll take Rhyhorn as the first catch here. It's better than it being Execute. Its massive bones are 1,000 times harder than human bones. It can easily knock a trailer flying. Nice. There is an easier way to catch each and every one of the Pokemon later on, and I would recommend it. It's not a way Nintendo would want to use, but I'm not Nintendo. So, While I'm taking my first few trips here to gather items, I'm just gonna talk about the wild Pokemon we can find here because there's a lot of them. Different Pokemon appear more commonly or just at all in different areas of the Safari Zone, but we'll be going over them all at once. Here we go. Execute is one of the best Pokemon in the game. No, really. It gets access to all of the powder moves outside of Spore, meaning it can reliably run both Sleep and Paralysis to make it an excellent utility for crippling opposing teams. It learns Psychic, which is the strongest Psychic-type move, and its excellent typing means its weaknesses aren't particularly common, and it's excellent at taking some of the things that are common. On top of that, it can evolve as soon as you get it through the use of a Leaf Stone into Exeggutor. Before evolving it, make sure it knows every move you want it to know through level up. The only move it learns after evolving is Stomp at level 28. But evolving simply grants Exeggutor powerful stats on top of what it already has as an Execute. Exeggutor is universally considered the 4th best Pokemon in Generation 1's competitive scene due to its ability to spread status and deal immense damage with moves like Psychic, Self-Destructor Explosion, Hyper Beam, or even Mega Drain to restore its own health. It's an absolutely devastating force that can make a good addition to almost any team. Rhyhorn is yet another Pokemon that fills an extremely important role in competitive play. Once it evolves, at least, but that won't be until level 42, and until then, its main draw is going to be spamming Rock Slide, Dig, and Body Slam, all of which it can only learn via TM. The only moves it learns through level up are normal type, and while it does get access to a one-hit KO move in the form of Horn Drill, it's too slow to effectively utilize it before being knocked out by one of the many water-type Pokemon it will have to go up against in the near future. If you're willing to wait for it to evolve, it will eventually become a devastating threat to any opponent, but for now, you're better off picking up a Graveler even if you don't have anyone to trade with. Parasect, at long last! Parasect is actually pretty situationally okay in Red and Blue, which is saying a lot considering how awful it is in every future generation. First, the elephant in the room. Parasect is the only fully evolved Pokemon in the game with access to Spore, the only move with 100% accuracy that puts the opponent to sleep. As a result, it has excellent utility at the very least when you're going to capture stronger Pokemon. However, it has an extremely poor defensive typing, having 3-4 times weaknesses to Poison, Fire, and Flying, though granted only one of those types is particularly common for opponents to use. Parasect is at its best using Spore and Stun Spore to spread Sleep and Paralysis, then setting up with Swords Dance and dealing good damage with either Slash, Body Slam, or Hyper Beam. There are other Pokemon who are much better at doing what it does, but if you just like Parasect and want to use it in the one game where it had a chance, here it is. Back to Pokemon that are extremely important competitively, it's Chansey! In fact, it's present on pretty much 100% of all competitive teams. Chansey owes this to its gargantuan special bulk, being able to switch into pretty much any Psychic-type Pokemon and quickly neutralize it with Thunder Wave and Seismic Toss. It also gets access to Reflect to slightly help it against physical attackers, though it would be a lie to say it does enough to fully make Chansey good in every situation. Being a normal-type Pokemon means Chansey has access to a massive array of moves. It gets access to Thunder Wave and Thunderbolt along with Ice Beam, allowing it to spread statuses and deal decent damage to a good chunk of its opponents. It also gets access to a move that only it and Mew can learn pretty soon through a TM, Soft Boiled, which allows it to restore half its already immense health as long as it gets a chance to move. If your team is lacking in special bulk, Chansey is the Pokemon to patch that weakness up. If you can catch it, good luck. It's a 1% encounter and is pretty much guaranteed to flee the second it gets a chance. Kangaskhan is a very powerful Pokemon, being able to knock out almost any opponent with Hyper Beam from about 60% HP. It gets access to the usual suspects a normal type would have, Body Slam and Hyper Beam, and is also a good user of Rock Slide and Counter, both of which we got at the Celadon department store. Its speed stat is respectable enough that it'll outspeed a good number of other Pokemon, allowing it to move quickly and hit things with Hyper Beam before they're even able to make a move. The main downside is that Kangaskhan can't really take a special hit at all, meaning if it's unable to take out a special-based opponent or even unable to outspeed them, it's lights out for Kangaskhan. It's a decent normal type if a bit outclassed, and is a great option if you didn't want to add Snorlax or Persian to your team. Venomoth is yet another bug type who specializes in carrying 2 status moves to cripple opposing teams. It may not get access to Spore like Parasect, but it makes up for it by having a better type and better speed stat to spread Sleep Powder and Stun Spore. Unfortunately, from there, it doesn't have a lot of options. Psychic is its best option for attacking, and while the TM for Psychic is actually already available to obtain right now should you so choose, there are a lot of Pokemon that would be better at using it. Venomoth's definitely not bad, but similar to Venonat, it's sort of just a slightly better Butterfree without much else to make it special. By using the Super Rod, you can obtain Psyduck. Unfortunately, one of Psyduck's most important tools, Amnesia, is locked behind Pokemon Stadium, and without that, you're stuck with a weak Pokemon with bad stats until level 33. It's not that Psyduck is bad, but that's a pretty long wait when you're fishing these guys up at level 15. I'm sorry, Cosmo, I wish it was better in this game. But to make it up to you, by fishing with the Super Rod, it's also possible to find Slowpoke. Slowpoke has an interesting niche of being able to set up with Amnesia and use Thunder Wave to paralyze opponents. Something worth noting though, Slowpoke won't be evolving until level 37, and until then, its best attacking move through level up is going to be Water Gun. We are going to be getting a better water move it can learn pretty soon as well, but I'd recommend waiting. There's a spot later on where we can obtain its evolution, and I'd say you're better off waiting so you don't get caught up in the slog of training this guy from level 15 all the way to level 37. And, using the Super Rod, this is also the only place where you can catch your own Dratini without the need for gambling. That's why this is where I'll finally be going over Dragonite, which is what Dragonair evolves into at level 55. Dragonite is a beast with a near unrivaled base stat total of 500, making it the first pseudo-legendary Pokemon in the series. Its Dragon type is, like Dratini and Dragonair, purely defensive, but the resistances it gains from the type are still extremely useful, allowing it to switch into a lot of Pokemon without issue. In gaining the Flying type, it trades its resistances to Electric-type Pokemon for immunity to Ground type and a 4x weakness to Ice, along with a weakness to Rock. And overall, I think this trade-off does Dragonite no favors. It doesn't even learn any Flying-type moves at all in Generation 1, and only learns Wing Attack and Fly if traded to Generation 2. It makes up for this by being the best user of Agility and Wrap, a combination that is extremely time-consuming but also extremely powerful. It's also a phenomenal user of the X-Accuracy and Horn Drill combo, and can learn almost any other move you can think to teach it as well. It's even the only Pokemon to learn Hyper Beam naturally through level up. Dragonite is an excellent Pokemon through and through. The only downside is that your Dragonair will not be able to reach this stage until either the very end of the game or the post-game, making it something that is very hard to plan around including in a team. Lastly, there's one Pokemon I skipped. Tauros. Tauros is, without a doubt, the most important offensive presence in Pokemon Red and Blue's competitive scene thanks to its powerful Body Slam and Hyper Beam, paired with enough coverage moves to choke... Mudsdale? No, any Pokemon that can resist its same type attack bonus. It also gets access to not one, but two one-hit KO moves, meaning it's also a great user of the X-Accuracy trick. Tauros isn't without its weakness. A powerful submission, powerful special moves, Pokemon with sizable bulk that can use rest to recover their health. There are a number of things Tauros isn't well equipped to deal with, but overall, Tauros is one of the most threatening Pokemon on any team, which is why this is the final member of my team. Yeah, I'm gonna be here a while. I intend to catch this thing completely legitimately, even despite the fact there's an easier way to find one later, so here's a compilation of that if it takes a long time, I guess. I'm sorry about the speed up. I don't know, man. This area is really long, and you have to come back here so many times that there's no way I would be doing this without speed up. Oh, did I just catch my fourth Pokemon here? I think that was my third. Okay. I can go check. I am going to hunt for Tauros, like, now. So, wish me luck. If you want to know where any of the items are in the Safari Zone, I'm pretty sure I just got all of the ones we actually have access to right now that aren't required to progress. So, yeah. You can use the screen up in the corner to find out where they are. Otherwise, there are very detailed maps of the Safari Zone that are available online. I found a Tauros. Oh, it's gonna run. 58 more steps to find another one. Okay. It stayed after the first ball. I thought it was actually gonna get lucky this time. Oh my god! Oh yeah! That was like a 6% chance of working. Holy shit! Woo! Okay. Tauros was caught. The Wild Bull Pokémon. When it targets an enemy, it charges furiously while whipping its body with its long tails. Oh my god. So, giving a nickname to Tauros. This is the second team member that I'd like to ask for nickname suggestions for. I've got absolutely no ideas for this one. So, leave your suggestions in the video input channel in the Discord server for extra consideration. Otherwise, I will also be accepting comments in this video's comment section or a community post or on Twitter at WinterNetLP. Oh, I feel like I'm gonna throw up. Okay. Let's run out of time real quick so I can put Tauros in the party. Withdraw Tauros. Hold on, hold on. Oh my god. It only comes knowing Tackle and Stomp, which is pretty pathetic, but... trust me, this thing will not be pathetic for long. I could teach it Horn Drill right now if I really wanted to. Okay, Tauros is gonna need to be in the lead for a while in order to catch up to everyone else, but that is fine. Oh my, that didn't even take that long. I've only been recording for like probably 50 minutes. It's a 4% encounter in Area 3 of the Safari Zone. Like, that is not common. And then it's another 6% chance to catch it without throwing any rocks at it. After going around the zoo, I finally made it back. I want to see what items I've collected so far here. A Carbos and TM37, which is Egg Bomb. It's an awful move that we could already buy at the department store. Full Restore. I didn't even write down that I needed to get that, but I have a list of items that I wrote down that I absolutely need to pick up, is how it's written. Max Potion isn't one of them. A TM. Skull Bash. This charges one turn and then deals damage the next. It also increases defense on the charge turn. It's not good. I wouldn't recommend it. Protein. Obviously a great item. And a Max Revive. That is all the items that I wrote down that I absolutely need to get before actually progressing in the area, so... yeah. This time, we're going to be actually going through the Safari Zone with the goal of reaching the end of the area. Let's do this. Okay. I'm gonna be honest, I'm trying to go purely off memory. I don't have a map open or anything, so... this could be a good guide, and it could be a bad one. Made it to Area 1. The area we start in isn't Area 1, it's the central area. And I believe in Red, Blue, and Yellow, this area is, like... I don't know. The area... the way the areas are noted changes depending on which iteration of the Kanto region you're playing in. I need to spray a repel. This is unacceptable. I don't need another execute. Repels do work in the Safari Zone, so at least it's nice in that sense. The 500 step... Oh my god, wait. Oh, because Tauros is only level 26, duh. No, I don't need a neat arena! Don't work. Don't work. Come on! Switch to Cat to the front temporarily so the Super Repel will actually work. I don't want to risk catching more things that I don't need right now. Once you reach here, you want to take the lower route. There is an item on the upper route, normally, if I didn't already grab it, but I did already grab it, so that doesn't matter. We are now in Trainer Tips. Win a free HM for finding this. I think I've read that sign maybe 12 times. Trainer Tips. Pokemon hide in tall grass. Zigzag through grass. Why are you telling me that now? How long have we been exploring this region? That seems a little, like, ridiculous to be telling me now. Okay, we need to get around here somehow. Which, I guess by somehow I mean by going this way. If you go down that way, you will still make it to Area 3. Area 3 is where I caught Tauros. But, there's separate entrances to Area 3, and one of them will actually get us to the area we need to go to, so we are gunning for the actual good entrance. Trainer Tips. The secret house is still ahead. I guess that counts as Trainer Tips? Okay, down here. Gold teeth. How did you spot those on the ground, but also fucking nasty? Request notice. Please find the Safari Warden's lost gold teeth. They're around here somewhere. Reward offered. Contact Warden. Whoever put up this sign is totally getting fired. Unless it was the Warden, I guess. Maybe he's blind too. TM32. What is this one? I actually don't know. Double Team. Increases evade by 1. This isn't really a move that I would rely on for anyone, so I'm not gonna teach it, but you can if you enjoy using evasion strats. If you couldn't tell by the fact this house is laid out differently from all the other rest house, this is the secret house. Ah, finally! You're the first person to reach the secret house! I was getting worried that no one would win our campaign prize. Congratulations, you've won! HMO3. HMO3 is Surf! Pokemon will be able to ferry you across water. And this HM isn't disposable. You can use it over and over. You're super lucky for winning this fabulous prize. He's actually right. HMO3 Surf is pretty much the best water-type move in the game. And is going on Yumi immediately. Can't learn more than 4 moves. Obviously. Goodbye, Bubble Beam. Surf is a 95 power, 100 accuracy water-type move, making it the water-type equivalent to Thunderbolt and Ice Beam. And, as the man said, we can also use it to travel over water, which is pretty useful, considering all of the areas here are pretty much just separated by water. So if we go into the menu and have Yumi use Surf, music that played when the SSN left will play, we now have pretty much free access to everywhere in the Safari Zone. Want to get back to the central area. I don't know if that's going to be possible before the time runs out, but... Oh, it is. We're here. Okay. Why don't you surf here and get to this little central island to pick up a nugget? It's a pretty good deal. And do I have the super rod? Not right now, it's in the PC. Okay. I was gonna say I'll catch a Dratini while I'm here, but no, I won't. The game decided I won't. Alright then. If you ever want to leave the Safari Zone, too bad. There's no option in the menu in this game, but in future games there's usually just a retire option in the menu. Return our Safari Balls, and that's it for the Safari Zone. For now, dear God, please don't remind me of the grinding I have to do to catch everything in there, please. Fuck, I don't want to have to catch Chansey. I'm missing ducks already. This city is literally unbearable to navigate without Cut. And even with Cut, it still sucks having to go into the menu. We want to head over here, to the Warden's house. Winter gave the gold teeth to the Warden. The Warden popped in his teeth. Thanks, kid! No one can understand a word that I said. I couldn't work that way. Let me give you something for your trouble. HMO4. HMO4 teaches strength. It lets Pokemon move boulders when you're outside of battle. Oh yes, did you find Secret House in Safari Zone? If you do, win an HM. I hear it's the rare Surf HM. So, it is technically possible to get HMO4 before HMO5, or HMO3, but I don't see any circumstance where you reach the gold teeth and don't have enough steps left to reach the secret house. I'm going to go ahead and teach strength to Tauros. This may seem weird, but we already used the Body Slam HM, and strength isn't, or TM I mean, and strength is pretty much just a generic normal move. It doesn't have any added effect or anything, but it can be used in the overworld to move boulders. This is the only room in the game where this is necessary until pretty much the second to last dungeon in the entire game, but you can do it now, and get a rare candy for free in this house. Otherwise, it's just a pretty generic normal move, but coming from Tauros, any normal move is pretty strong. With all that done, we've explored the Safari Zone and got 2 new HMs, so next time on Pokemon Generation 1, we're going to be showing just some of what we can do now that we have access to Strength and Surf. See you guys next time. Just as one final reminder, nickname suggestions for Tauros are due by January 25th on Discord, Twitter, or the comment section of this video, or the community post. And pay attention to Twitter or the Discord, because I may have an extension depending on when I record next. Bye.